washed up. He think I'm old. He always talking about I'm old, I'm gray, that I'm an old man. But I'm gonna show him once and for all. You see that right there, Ray?
I see it.
That triad ring. It looks like a hot plate. It looks like the new, like, you know, instead of the George Foreman grill, it looks like the Shannon Briggs hot plate. And we're gonna put all these MMA pies on the Shannon Briggs hot plate. Let's go, champ.
Talking, man. That's all he's good at. I'm gonna start calling Shannon Cannon the meme queen. That's all he's good is talking. Man, talk is cheap. You know, talk is cheap. I wanna put my fist in his mouth to shut him up. And when I beat Shannon, please sign a contract, Shannon, and say, if I beat you in boxing, you can't say let's go champ no more. We all tired of hearing that. For real.
What if I beat you in MMA?
Name your price. Name your price. You beat me in MMA, name your price. Let's talk. Listen, he can never shut up. All he does is talk. He is an old man. He got one foot in the retirement home.
I want to fight him in triad combat. This is going to prove once and for all. This is going to prove once and for all.
Every time I see you look different. Put the old grizzly bear head back on.
That's the Yeti.
Look.
That's the Yeti. Listen, if Ryan Kavanaugh...
What's going on, you guys? So, yeah, you see the title, Boxing vs. MMA. Triller Fight Club is once again trying to reinvent the wheel with a new revolutionary team combat system. It's called the Triad Combat, and let me explain to you what this is. Triad Combat is a revolutionary new combat team sport which incorporates boxing and MMA rules in an aggressive, fast-paced manner, with the fighters competing in a specifically designed triangular ring over 2-minute rounds, featuring professional boxers competing against professional mixed martial arts fighters. The specific motto of leveling the playing field between the two sports, utilizing crossover gloves and withholding is allowed, meant to offer boxing and MMA fighters an even battleground where neither opponent has a greater advantage. Now, for your boy Bushido, this is pretty interesting. We all know your boy Bushido loves some martial arts. He loves combat in general. And to see how this thing play out, or to see how this even looks, right? It could look like a big mess based off the rules and how this thing could possibly play out. We just don't know how it would mesh. But like in boxing, there's no knees, elbows, or kicks allowed, just punches. And for the MMA fighters' benefit, they're going to be allowed to fight in the clinch. A lot of MMA guys, a lot of these wrestler dudes are really, really strong in the clinch, and this is what they do. They use a lot of dirty boxing tactics. So this will be interesting. Now let's look at the card of this inaugural event for Triller. I mean, this is something that kind of came out of nowhere. Of course, both teams are being led. The boxing team is being led by Shannon Briggs, and the MMA team is being led by Quentin Rampage Jackson. The main event is actually Frank Mir. Frank Mir is a former UFC heavyweight champion, has been competing in MMA and recently boxing since 2001. Yeah, Frank Mir been around for a long, long time. He holds wins over Brock Lesnar, Tim Sylvia, Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira, Mirko Krokop, and other notable names. Mir, 19-13 in MMA, last fought in April, losing the decision to Steve Cunningham under the Triller banner. Yeah, I remember that he fought in a boxing fight. And he lost. He did really well, though, against Steve Cunningham in a boxing fight. He went to the straight decision. He didn't get knocked out. He didn't get, stopped or anything like that. Went to a decision. He did pretty good, considering he was up in there with a boxer like Steve Cunningham. His opponent, Kubrat Pulev. Now, I'm sure a lot of my boxing brothers heard of Kubrat. Yeah, he's doing this now. Sports a record of 28-2 with 14 knockouts in the world of boxing. His only losses throughout his distinguished career came in the world title bouts to Vladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua. That's right. He only lost to two of the top heavyweights. This should be really, really interesting to see how Kubrat, who's also older now, fights Frank Mir. But the difference between Cunningham and Kubrat is that Kubrat recently just fought, So we go see how Frank Mir fights against the big, tough Kubrat Pulev. The co-main event is Matt Mitrione versus Alexander Flores, heavyweight. Matt Mitrione competed under the UFC banner and Bellator for many years. He made his professional debut in the UFC back in 2009, stopping Marcus Jones. Mitrione has defeated notable opposition such as Derek Lewis, Fedor Emelianenko, Gabriel Gonzaga, and others. Mitrione is 13-9 in MMA. Was released by Bellator over the summer after going winless in a 5-bout stretch. His last fight was in July when he suffered a first-round TKO to Tyrell Fortune. Alexander Flores, who fights out of Rolling Heights, California, owns a professional boxing record of 18-3 with 16 knockouts, and that's Alexander Flores. And then Mike Perry, I'm sure a lot of you MMA guys know who Mike Perry is, Platinum Mike Perry. He is fighting Sakio Bika. Yeah, I'm sure my boxing brothers know who Sakio Bika is. They're fighting at light heavyweight 175. Mike Perry last competed at UFC on ABC 2 in April, where he suffered a decision loss to Daniel Rodriguez. It was his final bout in the UFC contract. The 30-year-old competed in the UFC from 2016 to 2021, picking up wins over Paul Felder, Jake Ellenberger, and Alex Oliveira, among others. Perry, 14-8 in MMA, is currently under contract with BKFC, but can't fight outside of bare-knuckle boxing competitions. That's right, Mike Perry is now a bare-knuckle boxer. His MMA run, his UFC run, just, he's a character. He has personality, but he just couldn't win fights. He just couldn't get it together. Sakio Bika is a former WBC super middleweight champion. His boxing record is 35-7-3 with 22 knockouts and holds wins over top-rate contenders such as Sam Solomon twice, Peter Manfredo, and Jadrian Carderington. Yeah, I remember Sakio Bika, man. Wow. This is what Triller got going on. There's more fights, but I'm not going to read through them all. Interesting indeed. We're going to see how these MMA guys, hands look against a boxer. Of course, the rules are tweaked to give them or to even a playing field so they can use the clinch. It's going to be interesting to see if they can stifle the boxer's game. It's going to be really, really interesting. The size of the ring is a triangle, so it's not a square, it's not an octagon. It's a totally different situation, and we're going to see who's going to win. It'll be interesting they allowed kicks, but I think that'll be a huge advantage for the MMA guys over the boxers. So Shannon Briggs and Rampage are the leaders of these teams. The press conference was pretty entertaining. It's surprising that they're not going to fight each other on them as the main event, but they're looking to face each other on the next event in boxing. Huge advantage for the older Shannon Briggs, who's 49 years old, but he holds 60 wins with only 6 losses, and he has the most first-round knockout wins in boxing history. I think he still holds that record, if I'm not mistaken. Shannon Briggs was a true heavy hitter in the sport of boxing. Rampage Jackson is an MMA legend. He hasn't looked good in his past few fights. Of course, he's been past his prime for some time now. But going into a boxing match with Shannon Briggs is dangerous. So he wants a MMA fight afterwards. Win, lose, or draw, he wants Shannon Briggs to sign on the dotted line that you promised to fight an MMA fight, because you boxers always want us to come over there and fight y'all in y'all world, but y'all never want to come over here and fight us. I mean, I like it. I'm all for it, as long as it ain't no intergender bullshit. It's just a fight between boxers and MMA guys to see who could really duke it out with them hands. Tell me what you guys think. Triad Combat is coming up next weekend. Crazy, right? Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.